Okay, let's just wait for some few seconds for others to join. Okay, so maybe we should just continue. All right. Okay, so welcome back. Sorry for my network. All right. So we were talking about the enterprise environmental factor. Haven't discussed about the business document, the agreement. The other major input we have to the project charter is enterprise environmental factor. And I was trying to explain earlier what we mean by enterprise environmental factor. All right. Take note. Why do we even have to discuss enterprise environmental factors? The reason why we have to even discuss enterprise environmental factor is this because you discover that project managers have to deal with different companies' cultures and existing systems, organizational structures, hierarchies in the organizations. So you discover that because project managers will definitely face all these challenges of different company structures, different companies' culture and existing system, different organizational structure, then there is need to talk about enterprise environmental factor. Just as it sounds, enterprise environmental factor, we are simply saying that these are those factors that are outside the control of the project managers. Because why? The project managers and his team, there is absolutely nothing they can do about it. All right. Technically, we refer to enterprise environmental factors as companies' baggages, which simply means those things that comes with the project. So enterprise environmental factors can be seen as those things that comes with the project that are outside the control of the project managers and his team. We refer to them as what? Enterprise environmental factors. Because there's nothing the project manager can do about it. It is either as a result of maybe the kind of organizational culture or the existing organizational system or the organizational hierarchy. It cannot do anything about it. We refer to it as what? Enterprise environmental structure. For example, technically, the organization you currently work for, there are little or nothing you can do about some policies. There's nothing or little you can do about the existing systems that has been placed in that organization. All right. Let me give a practical example. If tomorrow you are called upon Kennedy to say, okay, we need you to go to Port Harcourt to go and execute a project. In as much as under that organization, you can't say, no, excuse me, sir, why Port Harcourt? No, let's bring the project to Lagos now. Why? Because the project location is in Port Harcourt. So you can't do anything about it. You can't say, no, I don't want us to use Port Harcourt. Let's do the project in Lagos. There's nothing you can do about it. So we refer to it as what? Enterprise environmental factors. So which means there are some factors you, the project manager, must consider. Excuse me, sir, why do I need to consider those factors? Because it will make you to be able to influence your decisions, influence that factors to your own benefit. That is why you need to consider those factors. All right, that is the more reason why you need to consider those factors in particular. So what are the examples? We have internal and external. Let's look at it. Under the external factors, which means you are looking at political situations, there's nothing you can do about it. Like now, currently in the eastern states, there is a sit-at-home order. If you are embarking on a project in an eastern location, you must consider the enterprise environmental factor of sit-at-home. Do you get it? So there's nothing you can do about it. You cannot say, no, why would they say we should sit at home on Monday? Don't they know that on Monday is a very critical and working day? No, I have to go and see the IPOP leader and discuss matters with him because this project is very important to this organization. Is there anything you can do about it? No. Or maybe the political situation in Borno State. There's nothing you can do about it. They are enterprise environmental factors. Or maybe government regulations. That, they say, this is a new regulatory requirement. Like some time ago, the Nigeria Communication decided to say, okay, there must be a SIM registration. You see, all our network providers decided to embark on SIM registration projects. There is nothing you can do about it. Why? Because the government make it as is regulatory. Or maybe security issues. Like for instance now, there are some projects that it is a standard you must be security conscious and you must be safety conscious. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't say, no, I can't wear that helmet. I can't wear that boots. No, it's too heavy for my leg now. There's nothing you can do about it. They call them enterprise environmental factors. Okay? It can also be internal in terms of nobody determine the date of payment of salaries. It is the organization. You can't say, because I'm working with you today, instead of you paying salary end of the month, I need you to pay my salary at the beginning of the month. You can't change it. It is the existing system in that organization. We refer to it as what? Enterprise environmental factor. Which means even you as a project manager, there is technically nothing you can do about it. That is what? Enterprise environmental factor. If for instance your organization is having financial challenge, are you not going to say, okay, organization, don't worry, don't pay me for the next 2 years. Since you are having financial challenge, let me just be working for you for free like that. Don't worry. That is what? Enterprise environmental factor. So it must be considered. Why? So that we know how to channel it, influence it for your own benefit. That is why we said earlier, no organization has the same structure. They may be doing the same services, they may be selling the same products, they may be doing the same projects, but they have different structures. So understanding of those structures is what we refer to as enterprise environmental factors. Then the second one to discuss, we call it EEF, all right, enterprise environmental factors. Then the second thing to discuss is what? OPA, organizational process assets. When we say an organizational process asset, we are saying that there are some policies, there are some documentations, there are some processes, there are some procedures, there are some historical informations that have happened in the past in that organization, that the organization did not trash it. It did not throw them away. They decide to file it so that it can become a guidance, or it can provide direction and guidance for futuristic projects. That is what enterprise environment, that is what organizational process asset. So what is organizational process asset? Technically, organizational process asset helps to provide direction and guidance in planning and helping the project benefit from past companies' experience. Example, you will see that there are some internal policies or procedures of how to do things that the organization has documented, and they dated it since 2002. And today, if they make a reference to it, they will now say there's also document, they will reference it 2002. Why do they reference that document? Because that document was kept to provide direction to every person that will be working on new projects in that organization. Oh, it could be a project you did in the past, and the organization has said, okay, gather all the estimation you used for that project in the past, all the every valuable information about the project, all the official document, the project charters, all the official document that you have for the previous project that you have done, put them together and file it in the organization. So you drop it with the admin file it. So that document that is filed, that can be referenced later in the future, it becomes what we refer to as assets. And that is why we refer to it as organizational process assets. So there are those documents, those processes, those procedures, those historical information that has been used in the past projects that will guide the current project success. We refer to those as what? Organizational process assets. So the organization kept it for their own internal use. So we have two categories of such. All right. As you can see, we have the first category, which is the process, policies, and procedure. Then we have the second category, which is a corporate knowledge base. Process, policy, and procedure, and corporate knowledge base. So we quickly look at them one after the other. Now, you can make note of such. What do we mean by process, policy, and procedure? Like for instance, you may discover that in your organization, you have what we refer to as process or policy for quality assurance. All right, that is a process policy aspect of it. All right, you discover that in your organization you have policy for continuous improvement, you have policy for human resource management, you have policy for safety, you have different policies. That is what policies, and that is this aspect that has to do with process, policies, and procedure. The organization decides to document those policies for future references. Then the second aspect, which is the corporate knowledge. So this corporate knowledge base is divided into historical records and lesson learned. note it down, is divided into historical records and lesson learned. So it's divided into historical record and lesson learned. So when we say historical record is a record of past projects that is used to plan and manage future projects. Is a record of past projects. So we are explaining this two now. This one now, corporate knowledge base, which is in two categories: historical information, and the second category, which is the lesson learned. So historical records in this category is saying that it is a record of past projects that is used to plan and manage future projects. That is what historical informations. All right. It could be a record of all the activities in your former project. It could be a record of all the reports in your former project. It could be a record of all the estimates that was used in your former project. So all those records were kept together and documented and archived in the organization for future use. Then the second one, which is the lesson learned. The lesson learned, please take note of all these terms because we'll only just be making reference to it later. What is a lesson learned? The lesson learned as it sounds is a post-mortem. What do we mean by post-mortem? Which means we are simply saying that it only occurs after a project or a phase of a project has been completed. So a lesson learned is now that meeting that takes place between the project manager and his team, where they discuss issues or answers only 3 questions. And what are those 3 questions? The questions they answer, please take note of it, is that they ask themselves a question. Question number one, what is it that we did rightly in this project or phase we just completed? Question number 2, what was it that we did wrongly in this project that we just completed? And number 3 question is, what can we do differently if given opportunity to carry out the project again? So those 3 questions defines what lesson learned is. So lesson learned is a post-mortem, which means, let's say for instance, you just finished a work on fabrication. All right, you just finished a process of fabrication. Maybe you are doing any work and okay, let's say for instance, yes, you just finished a process of fabrication, for example. A lesson learned will now say that you gather the team of members you work with and ask yourself, okay, this aspect of the project we just completed, what is it that we did right? Everybody will tell you, oh, we did this one well, this one happened, that one happened. It's good. Then you ask yourself the second question, what is it that we did not do well? Everybody will explain it. Take note, all this explanation must be written down. What is it that we did not do well? They talk about it. Oh, we did not do this one well. The money did not come on time. We should tell management to release fund on time. This happened. Oh, we did not start this process on time. Or maybe next time we should arrange the work in this direction. It must be written down. Then you now ask your question, okay, what can we improve on if we have the opportunity of carrying out the project again? These 3 questions symbolizes a lesson learned discussion. And all that information will be documented and kept in the organizations. So it becomes an OPA. So in future projects, an organization or the new project manager can decide to pick that information and work with it to know, oh, we have done this project before in the past. And because we have done this project before in the past, okay, what were the possible errors? What were the possible areas that they did well? What are the areas they did not do well, so that you can learn from it, so that you can take advantage of it and improve on the project he is going to work on. So that is that about what? The input. Are we good together? Hello, are we together? Can I go on? Hello, Egosa, can I go on? Are you good? Okay, what about Kennedy? Are you okay? Can we go on? Joseph. Yes, Joseph, question please. Okay. Now, the next word we need to look at is expert judgment. Yes. What is expert judgment? Yes, Kennedy, what is expert judgment? Kennedy, are you there? What is expert judgment? Hello, Kennedy, we can't hear you. Yes, I can hear you now. We can hear you now. Yes, go on. Yes, go on. We can hear you. All right. Okay, that's Joseph. Do you agree with that? Hello, Joseph. Do you agree with that? All right. Please take note. Take note. Expert judgment is not based on like authentication, as Kennedy said, or trying to pass verdicts, or trying to give comments in terms of project work done, or like maybe an expert is trying to supervise what the project manager is doing. No, that is not what we mean by expert judgment. Expert judgment is that technique that can be used by a project manager when he doesn't have enough knowledge of what he needs to do. Not because somebody wants to come and authenticate or validate what he has done or approve what they have done or come as an expert to say, oh, you have done this well, you have not done this well. No, that's not expert judgment, what it stand actually mean. All right, please take note. What expert judgment actually mean is that, example, the project manager is trying to work on piping, just like as Kennedy was saying. All right, he was trying to do piping or trying to pipe. All right, and he got to a point he was stuck. He now decided to call Joseph. So Kennedy now decided to call Joseph, who is also expert too in that same construction field, and say, Joseph, Alpha, sorry to bother you. I'm really stuck. This is what I'm trying to do. It's getting me confused. Oh, Joseph will not say, no, 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 no. You have done it the wrong way. Do it like this, do it like this, do it like this, and everything will be okay. What has Kennedy done? Kennedy has used expert judgment technique to be able to move on. Do you get it now? So expert judgment is a technique that can be used by project manager when especially they are stuck, when especially they don't have enough information or they don't know what to do on any place or any project. Expert judgment is that technique. You can call somebody who has more experience than you to get opinions, to get the expertise opinion of that person. Why? Because that person is an expert on that field. Take note, that person you are calling or you are referencing must be an expert on that field. And you are calling that person to get an expertise opinion regarding that particular phase of the project you are working on. That technique alone is called expert judgment. Oh, if for instance now um, you reference somebody who has done PMP to ask one or two questions, all right, because the person have done PMP and the person is good in PMP, you now call the person and say, this, what should I do? And the person tells you. That technique of calling that person, getting information from that person because he's an expert, is what we refer to as what? Expert judgment. Ewosa, do you get that? Hello, Ewosa, do you get that? All right. Okay. So expert judgment is not like Kennedy. Do you get it now, Joseph? Expert judgment is not like you are validating. Expert judgment is not like. All right. Okay. All right. Yes. Now the point I'm saying now is this: not that you are necessarily calling them to come and verify. Hello. Not like you are bringing them on board to come and verify. That's the thin line I want you to understand. Not like you are telling them, oh yeah, come and see what I am doing, or tell me what if I'm doing it right. All right, because the person may not. Yes, go on. Okay. All right. Okay. I understand you. No, I understand you. All right. That which you have just said now. Can you hear me? All right. Yeah, that which you have just said now is what we refer to as validate. There's a process for it. All right. We refer to that process as scope validation and quality audit. All right. But it is far, far different from what we mean by expert judgment. Okay. But now, my point for expert judgment is not that you need to bring somebody to come and validate, to come and check, to come and authenticate. All right. But you are sharing opinions with somebody who called you to help give clarification because you are an expert. So, expert judgment, I don't want you to use big illustration to look at it. Expert judgment, as I've explained, is trying to lay foundation. And I know that Kennedy and Joseph, they are into construction. So while I'm trying to lay foundation, I'm now saying, okay, this foundation, how much will it cost me now? I now pick my phone and say, okay, let me call Kennedy. I say, Kennedy, how far? See, I'm trying to lay foundation, but I just want to get clarification. How much do you think I should budget for that foundation that I want to lay? Then Kennedy, being an expert, now say, well, from what size? Is he mid? Is he half plot or full plot? Is he upstairs? You ask me some questions. You now say, okay, if it is this, or yeah, this is the kind of amount you should look at. If it is that, that is the kind of amount you should look at. The technique of using that of what happened is what we refer to as what? Expert judgment. I did not call you to come to my building site to come and confirm. I did not call you to come and validate if the soil is okay or not before I can go on. But I only just call you to ask you some questions because I was stuck. That technique is what we refer to as what? Expert judgment. Then there's another technique that is also very important. We call them the data gathering technique. What is a data gathering technique? Just as it sounds, those are those techniques that can be used to gather more information or data from the stakeholders. And examples of possible data gathering technique in any project, as you can see on the screen, just to mention a few, you can see brainstorming, you can see focus group, you can see interview, you can see the use of questionnaire and survey. All these are what? Data gathering technique. All right. So all these are what? Data gathering what? Technique. So data gathering technique technically are those is a tool used by the project manager to gather more information. If you can still remember during your university days, all right, all those information you use for your analysis, you gather those information. The question is, how did you go about it? So, but in the case of project, you can decide to use brainstorming. What is brainstorming? When you bring experts from different fields or team members from different fields together. Remember, I use different fields together and discuss ideas, discuss way forward. Then you are using brainstorming to gather information. So brainstorming is when you have different experts from different fields coming together to share ideas, discuss ideas, get to the root point of the matter. You are using what? Brainstorming. Focus group, yes, when you are using a particular set of experts, not different experts in different fields now, but maybe experts in IT. Maybe the content of discussion is to improve on security of our internet network or security of our website. You decide to gather together only the IT expert to discuss that matter instead of bringing everybody on the project. That's what have you done? You have done a focus group. You streamline that meeting to a set of people who are experts in one aspect of a discipline of one particular field. All right. Then we also have interview. We know what interview is. Asking questions. We also have questionnaire. Some people can use questionnaire to gather data or survey. All right. All these are different data gathering techniques. Okay. Then also we have what we call interpersonal and team skills. Interpersonal and team skills. What is interpersonal and team skills? All these are those skills. So interpersonal and team skills are technically those skills that the project manager must have, that has to do with the project manager's character or the project manager's ability to be able to manage the team. Because the project manager will be dealing with people, so there are some interpersonal character the project manager must have so that he can be able to manage the people. Such is referred to as interpersonal skill. So, for instance, now in the business world, let's say you are in the management world, interpersonal and team skills is what they refer to as what? Soft skills. What are those interpersonal skills they are talking about? The conflict management skills, the business writing skills, negotiation skills, all right, communication skills, emotional intelligence skills, all right. All these others, they are all referred to as what? Interpersonal skills. Okay, and also we also have another technique which we refer to as meeting. Meeting becomes that official way of being able to meet with all your necessary stakeholders to discuss issues regarding the project. You can have stakeholders meetings, you can have progress meetings, you can have update meeting, you can have budget meeting, you can even have conflict resolution meetings. So meeting is also a technique that can be used when we discuss about the project charter. Take note, the reason why I took my time to explain all this is because we are going to be making reference to it. All right, you will see that it keep occurring in every other process, so I will just be telling you what, making reference to what they are. Okay, so this is a sample of a project charter. You can see a complete sample of a project. This is just to show you a sample of all the content that can be in a project charter. All right, you can see the project title and description. You can see that the name of the project manager must be there. You can see the business need or the business document stating the business need or the purpose of the project or the project objectives. All right, is there. You can see that aspect where we talk about the business case. All right, so you can see all the stakeholders and their requirement being captured. You can see all the possible information that is needed, the summary budget, the summary schedule, possible risk that can occur in the project, all are captured in the. Then you also see the last part, the approval. So all these are necessary information you have in your project charter. Are we good to go? Joseph, are we together? Okay. All right, so let's go. So the next thing we will look at after you have successfully created the project charter, the next thing is to go to the planning phase. Remember, that aspect of creating the project charter is you discussing with the project owners. All right, at this time, you don't have any team member yet. At this time, you've not started yet. You are still at the early stage. So now when the early stage is completed, the next stage is to now create what we refer to as what? The project management plan. So take note, when the project charter is created, the next thing is to start planning. And which document are you creating when you want to start planning? Is what? The project management plan. Excuse me, sir. What then is the project management plan? Before we look at what then is the project management plan, take note. The project management plan is that document that integrates all other aspects of the project plans together. Excuse me, sir, what do you mean? The project management plan, or technically, let me put it this way, there is no document that you can say that this is a project management plan. Excuse me, sir, you want to confuse me. If you are saying that there is no document that you can say is a project management plan, what then is the project management plan? So take note, the project management plan is a subsidiary document, or it is made up of subsidiary plans of all other aspects of the project. What do I mean? I simply mean that in this case, that the project management plan is made up of different plans. So a combination of different plans for your project put together is what forms the project management plan. So take note, which means that the project management plan can technically be seen like a folder. And inside that folder, you have a file of how you intend to the plan for your scope. Inside that folder, you have a file of the plan for costs. Inside that folder, you have a file for the plan for schedule. Inside that folder, you have a file for the plan for risk. Oh, inside that folder, you have a file for the plan for procurement. All these different plans put together is what forms the project management plan. So automatically, the project management plan becomes a central document that houses, or that is made up of subsidiary plans for the project. So when we say the project management plan becomes a central document, yes, it becomes a central document for coordinating the project as a whole. So if we say, which document is the project management plan? There is no document as the project management plan, but we can say that the project management plan contains all the different plans for that particular project, which means you have, just like as you have a Bible, inside the Bible you have different chapters or book of the Bible. So the project management plan is like the Bible. Then when you open it, you can see James, you see Genesis, you see Matthew, you see Luke. That is exactly how the project management plan is. Do we get that, please? So the project management plan is a document that is made up of different subsidiary plans for the project. What are those different subsidiary plans, sir? Those different subsidiary plans are plans for scope, plans for risk, plans for cost, plans for schedule, plans for resources, all those different plans. Remember, you are integrator. All the different plans, you are trying to put them together to form a document which becomes the project management plan. That is why we said you are an integrator, because the different plans for those different projects or different aspects of the project are put together by you. All right, that forms what we mean by what? The project management plan. Okay, excuse me, sir, is there a standard project management plan? No. The project determines the content of the project management plan. All right. Now, excuse me, sir, You said that the project charter cannot be changed once it is created. What about the project management plan? Can it be changed or adjusted? Yes. Apart from the project charter, every other document can be adjusted or changed or updated. All right. But take note, they must pass through a process for updates. All right. There must be a process of approval that it must pass through before it can be changed. All right. Take note of that. What are the ITTOs? You can see that the what we need to create the project management plan is the major document is what the project charter. So you can see that the project charter automatically is an official document that is needed for every other thing you need to do in your project. So it becomes a reference document to create what the project management plan. So you can see the technique. You can either use expert judgment technique. You can gather your using data gathering. You can see that we repeated all this technique. All right. So the same technique. What we want to achieve, the project management plan, which becomes the central document for coordinating and managing the project. So what are the subsidiary plans that made up the project management plan? You can see them. The scope management plan, requirement management plan, all the different plans of the different aspects of the project put together forms the project management plan. Any questions so far, please? Any question, please? Should I go on? Hello, Kennedy, you have question, please. Okay, Joseph, sorry. Joseph, you have question. Hello, Joe, do you have question? Hello, Joe, are you there? All right. Okay, I think let's stop here for today. I think we spent more than 2 hours plus all the break in. Let's stop here for today so that we will not be too much loaded. All right. Is that okay, please? All right. All right. Joseph, Friday is you and Thursday is it okay by you, Joseph? All right. Okay. So we stick. So please take note. I'm going to drop the assignment and also the quiz for the first topic we have discussed, the fundamentals of project management. Okay. And please, Kennedy and Joseph, irrespective of the attitude of other people on this call, please, I don't want you to lose your own original focus. You remember when we started this class, I purposely asked everybody, why do you want to study or why project management? And everybody gave their reasons. All right. And to you, that becomes a business case. All right. So me, I see that reasons that I ask you, why do you want to do project management as a business case? So my objective to each individual is based on that reason. All right. Please don't miss it. Don't say, oh, because one person is, no, we move on. We move. All right. We move. We must make progressive elaboration. All right. Please take note. My business case with you is your project objective, why you are embarking on project management. All right. My focus is that at the end of the season, you are able to attempt the exam at your first attempt, or at you write once and you pass once and for all and become certified. That is my mission. All right. So if others decide to follow us, or they are serious or they are not serious, I will move. All right. Kennedy, are you with me? All right. So thank you for your time. All right, sir. Good night. So Joe, good night.